And let me invite the rest of the panel also to come to the stage so we can prepare some questions. Questions from the audience, maybe, please. If you have any questions, then we have a team to provide you with a microphone. Questions to any of the presenters on their integrated approach on their presentations? So far, not yet? Sorry, please go ahead.
Hi, guys. Working? Yeah, cool. My name is Frederick. I'm from Sweden, the very southern part of Sweden, close to Denmark. And you all talk about SMEs. I run a part of a DMO. We have been doing like development projects. We have been doing sustainability projects for ages and ages. And you touched the point that they are low on resources. But I would kind of rephrase that as like they are low on risk capital. So when you, Kirsty, and in Slovenia, you talked about developing products, the risk capital is all on the SMEs. They develop a project or a product, and then they wishfully, hopefully, bring it out to the market and keep their fingers crossed that someone will want to buy it. Have any of you tried to approach that in a different way? Have you involved the buyers, or I would call them, the investors?
Well, you know, we are addressing the whole problem, also that part. And the way we do it is that from the start on, when we are developing tourism products, we engage with magazines quite closely. So, for example, Slovenia Green Gourmet route was in all magazines. It was in National Geographic, Lonely Planets, I don't know how many times, The Guardian, you know, you name it. It was like in all big newspapers. So because the way we did the whole development was that we engaged with independent journalists from the start on. So for example, now when we are creating Transdinarica biking route, a journalist is traveling along, and he's filming the whole process of developing the whole product. So, and he's then the one pitching the stories to magazines. And this, to our experience, showed that it's the best channel that you can have. And for example, we also run a travel agency, which is called Visit Good Place. And we are, you know, selling some of the, especially Slovenia green routes, which is like, on majority, I would say that 5% of people who do it through the travel agency. All the others do it by themselves because they have a really good self-navigation pack. And we work, I would say 90% of all our customers within the travel agency are business to customer. We don't even need to work with travel agencies because they find us through magazines and through social media campaigns that we are doing. So this is something what you need to have in mind from the start on. You know, developing an amazing tourism product, sustainable or not sustainable, doesn't matter, and put it in the market and wait that it will be sold, it's not going to happen. You know, you have to start thinking, when the moment you're starting to create the tourism product, you have to think about also how you're going to sell it and who you're going to sell it to, because you need to know your client very well. You know, if we are developing biking routes, we have to know what kind of bikers we are addressing. Are they going to be on e-bikes or, I don't know, road bikes or mountain bikes, you know, so you need to understand them. And then we always integrated a story, like for example, Slovenia Green Gourmet route, so it's based on culinary. You know, Slovenia is very well, you know, we have a really rich culinary story. So combining that and creating an interesting story around it and also put it and place it through the media is something that at the end will really, you know, bring the customers in.
Is that answering your question?
It's not.
But are you involving the buyers in the actual product development process?
Sorry?
Are you involving the buyers, the bikers and
the buyers. Yeah, we also are involving the agencies, the tour operators, the buyers in that way, like through the activities, like for example, what the tourist board in Slovenia is doing, study tours and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's, I would still say it's it's a smaller part than straight to the end consumer, because if you have really a good story behind, they will come for the story by themselves. They don't even need a tour operator.
No, but I was the end consumer. I was not talking about
Yeah.
the tour operators, but the end consumers. But they are experienced the more or less finished product.
Sorry, they experience.
They are experienced the finished product.
Yeah.
You don't use like development, design thinking processes or innovation processes involving the actual user.
No, as I said, I think it's really good that you need to know your end user. You need to know what he's expecting and what kind of product he would be willing to buy, and then you need to address him straight to his needs.
I'll add something. Something like 15 years ago, we had in Montenegro the national program called Wilderness Hiking and Biking Development, and that was actually exactly with that approach, that we at the same time educated the agencies when we invited tour operators who were interested in this new offer of hiking, cycling in Montenegro. We didn't just invite to promote, but actually to build the product with their advice, where they were saying, okay, look, this is what our clients are looking for, and we brought them together to a workshop at the end of a tour, etc. And they got to know several, of our like more engaged agencies for this kind of products. So maybe that's helps.
Same, yeah.
Is that sufficient answer to this question? Yeah? Oh, yes. Okay, great. Are there any other questions from the crowd? Please go ahead.
Great. My name is Martin. I'm based in the Middle East as well. And question as well a little bit for as well the DACH region, but as well for Balkan Green. How do you quantify as well, for example, the benefits of going for green destinations? One of the biggest challenges all the time, okay, what is the outcome right now? And you can quantify, of course, a green business with the savings hotels are having or establishments are having. But from a destination perspective, how do you quantify as well the benefits, for example, of a destination to follow these kind of green initiatives in regards to more tourists coming to the country or anything like that?
I believe you're asking the DACH region.
DACH or as well Green Balkan, because they have the experience already, right? So in the Middle East, we are at the first steps right now of implementing these kind of things, and these are all the kinds of questions which we are getting as well.
Let's start with DACH, yeah?
Maybe one of the first things Holger and me are always saying to our clients is, you don't get a guest more if you're sustainable, first of all. It's not that you're getting more guests, but maybe you get different ones. So you don't quantify that you're having a growth, because it's not about that. It's an urgency. We talked about it this morning. And we have these national programs in GreenDACH. We have in Austria, there's this national program. We have in Switzerland this national program. We have in South Tyrol this national program. So all these destinations are now they have to do something. Because from the top, it's top-down. It's more the top-down process at the moment in our countries, because on the national scale, they want to have these destinations going into a certification because they have these certification programs rolled out. But it's not because that they want to have more tourists coming in, because they have a problem. In the Alpine region, we have also over-tourism. We have that snow is an issue for skiing destinations. So there's an urgency to do something. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can support that, because in the Alpine region, tourism has a quite long history for some places, and they live from tourism. But now they have the situation that people living there don't like tourists anymore when it comes to and even not over tourism, even if there are just too many guests. So this is one thing that the destination management organizations are discovering, that they more have to work together with the regional management system of the regions to develop habitats, and not to do marketing for the destination as a travel destination. And the other thing is the climate change, like Michaela told us about the snow, that in the Alpine regions there's a long discussion. I mean, I studied tourism between 96 and 99, and when I started in 2000, it was already the topic that we have to think about alternatives for winter sport tourism in the Alps. So this is a very long, that was a very long development, and so we don't have to convince them to be sustainable. They just know they have to, because that's the future.
Maybe I can, I have two hats. I'm working for Slovenia, and in Slovenia, and Slovenia Green program is a national program, and it's run by the Slovenian Tourist Board. So as I showed you before, that 65 or 60 destinations in Slovenia mean that 98% of all overnights in Slovenia happen in certified destinations, right? So that means we did the job, we covered it. So, and it was not difficult to get them in, because it was a national program, Tourist Board was standing behind it, and there was a number of advantages that destinations got to get in. And once you reach a critical mass, it's like it comes like, if you are not in, you are out. So, they come in. So this was like pouring in, let's say so. We didn't have a problem with that. And now we're working with the Balkan Green, and we are kind of, our role in the Balkan Green is like bringing the experience of Slovenia. Slovenia in the region has a very good position, let's say so, because also in the history, we were always the ones who were the most hardworking ones, and so on. So even in the Yugoslavia part, Slovenia had a specific position. And now, and we never were in conflict, in real conflict in the region with anybody. So for us, it's really easy to work there. And our experience, and we can easily bring our experiences there. But the situation is completely different, because and now what we see that it's more and more that the national authorities in the region are starting to pick up, and starting to understand that it is never going to be enough if it would only be in the hands of destinations and decisions of the cities without a national support. It's really, really hard. Because then it's just like these light beacons around the region, and they are like, okay, doing their job, and they're interesting, and they are, they want to do something, but the big change only comes when there will be a change of mindset on the national level. And this is what we are seeing now in Balkan more and more. We see the representatives here, as we mentioned before, not just the destinations, but also national authorities. And I think this is an important part, that you need to get involved, national or regional authorities, if you want to make a change, because this is such a big change and such a big step that it, just empowering small destinations, it is a small step, but it's never going to make, it will be hard to make a big change.
And you're talking about measurement, right? Our measurement will be less is more, like more quality and less quantity, less garbage, less air pollution, less light pollution, all these things that will help our planet, basically. And the matrix, by the way, Slovenia is having this data hub now in the starting, so there is going to be an interesting model.
Tomorrow we're going to be talking more about national programs, national regional programs. So you've stolen the thunder a little bit of the speakers of tomorrow. No, it's good to hear these approaches. But further to the topic of this session, the integrated approach, I wanted also to ask, really the comparative between all of these examples and asking you what have been the challenges in implementing such a collaboration between DMOs, the enterprises, and create this supply chain, greening a supply chain actually. And maybe can I start all the way from the back and we work here? So Albert, in your experience in Bonaire or in Brazil, could you mention some of the main challenges for the people in the room here who think, oh, I think I can pull this off? What do they count with?
The biggest challenge has been that people have insufficiently an idea of the benefits. And there are huge benefits, but it's actually difficult to get them in the same room, to get them in the same Zoom on explaining the benefits and actually talking with them and saying, what could be the perspective and what you have to do for it. I mean, I understand that Slovenian Tourism Board didn't actually invest a huge amount of money. I mean, it hasn't been a hugely expensive project, and the impact has been huge, especially related to the investment. And I think the second is that there is insufficient capacity, some understanding at national level.
The need.
Yeah, but not so insufficient understanding of the benefits. That's one. But also the second is insufficient capacity at departments level to engage people, which has successfully been done in Slovenia by engaging Good Place and also maybe engaging a little bit green destinations in the beginning. Like, how can you do it? How can you make it work? So it's not important. It's definitely not necessary to find out the wheel. The wheel has actually been seen rolling very quickly in some countries. So I would say these obstacles can be really be overcome very easily.
Thanks. Yeah, from your perspective.
I'm going to take off my Arab hat for a second, put on my Greek hat, because I'm based in Greece and I'm also Greek, and that's where I have more experience, as the Arab world is a new one for us. But I foresee the same kinds of problems, and maybe my Balkan colleagues can also add to that. We have, I think, having the different authorities talk to each other when we're trying to onboard everybody into the value chain or into the stakeholder group. Sometimes there's competition, sometimes there's actually one authority that doesn't want to talk to the other authority, or they have some personal issues. We've seen that in Greece often. Sometimes they belong to different political parties, so they don't want to help each other. And also engagement between the public and the private sector, because often I hear from the private sector, oh yeah, we don't want to work with the public sector because they're useless. So I foresee that I am going to get the same thing in the Arab world as well, and that's what I'm bracing myself for when I try to engage a destination. Luckily here it comes top down. Sometimes good things happen because here we're engaging an authority that's all aboard. So in our sole first example in the Arab world, it's been good, but in others we know that we're going to face these problems. I don't know if my colleagues have this onboarding problem.
Totally so. I would say three things. Understanding to turn strategy, a paper, into everybody's everyday job. That's one thing. The second thing is communication. Putting oil in the machine means communication and transparency. And transparency helps on the way to sustainability and happiness. I'm coming from Finland. Finland is leading in these three dimensions: happiness, sustainability, transparency. So working with the Green Destination System is really helping us to put an institutional memory into this work, and we really hope that this transparency will help. And the last thing is understanding the purpose. Why are we doing this at all? And now I want to introduce pudding. Pudding is made by one of our colleagues' 10-year-old son. And that is the purpose. Why are we here? We are planting a tree knowing that we will probably never be in its shade. No, and understanding this also by the politicians is super important, and not just because we are a European Union candidate country, but way more.
Great, thank you. Pekka, can you, I see we have 4 minutes, and to leave the others also some...
Yeah, I will be very brief. Organizational and institutional structures are very often limited, so limiting and creating obstacles. So one word, networking is the answer and solution.
Yeah, I keep on that. Thanks, because for us in our region, GreenDACH, the first and concentrated obstacle is to get into the national programs. This is what Holger is me doing since 2 years. Constantly working that we're getting onto the lists, that GTP is on, that our business certification is on, that Green Destinations is on the official list, not just Umweltzeichen or just Tour Cert or whatsoever, that we are placed on. Because once we are on the national list, on these national programs, the destinations and businesses will call us. But if we are not on that list, they won't call us. So this is the first and main obstacle we have faced the last 2 years.
Well, our main, I would say our main problem, we are all the time coming back to the same one, is that we, you know, as I said, for example, in Slovenia, 95% of overnights happened in certified destinations, but we only have like, I don't know, 7% of accommodation certified. So there is a big gap. It's a huge gap. And there is so many support programs, even financial, educational, whatever, you're trying to put in that the businesses still don't follow, even though we have like for accommodation, tour operators, restaurants, whatever, name it, attractions and so on. So it's really difficult, you know, because it comes back to a really value of your personal values, how you run your business. And this is the hardest to change. You know, if I don't give a shit, I'm sorry, if I don't give a damn about it, you know, then it's like I will never go for it. You know, I can offer you whatever you want, but you know, you will not go for it. You know, so how to change those who are not on board? I think it needs something more than just everything what we are saying about the money, about the knowledge, about it's not enough. You need more. You need something that changes the values and it changes the way you perceive the world, actually. You know, so that's, I think, the hardest part, that because you cannot really just have a magic stick and do it.
Yeah, I think the magic stick is what Kirsi said. It's the why, because I think we are talking so much about know-how because we know how it works, but the know why we do this, I find really one of the most important things. And this is also the challenge to involve business, to involve this level, to get them into thinking about why we should develop more sustainability in tourism. Yeah.
Just one thing, you know, I think that the big problem is that it's now, especially after COVID, is a human resource. Like there is lack of people, you know, and if you have like sustainability on one of your tasks and you're running a business, it's the last one, because it's like you need to make operation going on, and if you don't have enough staff to operation continue, then you don't even get involved in the next steps. This is what we see also like being a big problem.
Totally agree. I mean, I do seminars in tourism since 10 years now, and after COVID, I mean, hoteliers, they just tell me, nice that you offer a seminar, but I have nobody to send to the seminar, and I myself sit on the reception, I take the phone. So this is really a big challenge, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Great. I think considering the time, that brings us to a nice closure of this panel. We've seen many interesting, inspiring examples of the integrated approach applied. We learned challenges on when implementing them. I think some great takeaways for tonight. I invite the audience to give a round of applause for these panelists. And call this day for today a conference. We'll continue with a beautiful dinner tonight. So we all look forward to seeing you there. It's a different venue. It's a museum. You see all the information in your package, on the back of your badge on where exactly that location is. So looking forward to seeing you there tonight, and take care.
Thank you.